Hi, I'm Christine Daniels. I'm a high-performance coach, executive strategist, and keynote speaker. I'm also a founding member of America's first virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the co-chair of the Leadership and Management Growth Committee. I run my own business. It's a coaching and consulting practice. The work I do is about developing leaders, building stronger teams, and integrating high performance with personal alignment, that inner work that makes the outer work sustainable. I deliver this through executive coaching, leadership development, and strategy work with executives, founders, and leadership teams. Before this chapter of my career, I spent over 25 years across capital markets, family office investing, and venture capital. One of the things I value most about AVCCI is what it actually is: a national community where professionals, business owners, and organizations connect, collaborate, and amplify each other's work. Building a business is one thing. Building it with the right relationships, the right visibility, and the right network across the country, that is something else entirely. And AVCCI is where that happens. If this sounds like the kind of community you've been looking for, we would love to have you. Learn more at avcci.us and learn more about my work at christineadaniels.com. I look forward to connecting.
Hi, my name is Timothy Reiter. I'm a CPA and tax director at MGO LLP. I'm also a proud member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI for short, and I'm very happy to be at the beginning stages of this movement, which I know is going to be a great success in the future. At MGO LLP, we perform auditing and accounting services, tax services, and consulting services. We serve public companies, private companies, high net worth individuals, and governmental agencies. We serve many different industries, some of them being entertainment, sports and media, technology, manufacturing, distribution, real estate. At MGO, I'm a generalist in the tax area, which means I get involved in many different things: C corporations, partnerships, S corporations, high net worth individuals. But in the tax space, we also have specialists that get involved in research and development credits and other credits as well as other incentives, state and local tax, international tax, tax controversy. And our accounting and auditing department is always looking to make your company financially healthy, or even more financially healthy than it is now, and give any advice that they can, and perform audits. And on the consulting side, we get involved in cybersecurity, fraud and litigation risk, and merger and acquisition on the sell side. Again, I'm always looking to save and defer taxes for my clients in any way that I can. And if it's an area that I don't deal with, that our firm handles, that I can always refer you to someone else if I can't handle it personally. But please feel free to reach out to me. The website is mgocpa.com if you want to learn more. And thank you so much for your time.
Hi, I'm Steve Turner and excited to be a part of the American Virtual Chamber of Commerce, AVCCI. I am the owner and operator of Solomon Turner Public Relations in St. Louis, author of the book PR That Works, and a national speaker. We solve the problems of helping companies build their brand through PR strategies in this crazy era of AI. Solomon Turner helps business owners better connect with their customers and communities that they serve for the long term, and we help sales and marketing with long-term growth by using these PR strategies. We have clients nationwide. We've worked with a lot of people you would know, such as celebrities as Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Steve Forbes, and many corporations like Northwestern Mutual. So I invite you to reach out. Love to talk to you, meet you, and have a conversation. And feel free to email or call at the numbers provided. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Devecioglu, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 187. We are in Season 6 in the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Quote of the day, as you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and here is the quote of the day. Becoming a leader is synonymous with becoming yourself. It is precisely that simple and also that difficult. Okay, great. Well, we have a special guest in the American Business Podcast. I'm going to invite our guest to our stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Christian. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Hey, Kevin. How's it going?
Good, good. Thank you very much. How are you? How is your week going so far?
It's been very busy. A lot going on, a lot of new projects, but can't complain. I'm coming to you live from Tampa, Florida. So the weather's nice. Looking forward to the weekend. How about you?
Good, good. That's great. Well, as you know, our headquarters is in New York City, and we are connecting. I'm connecting from New York, and Tampa is one of my favorite cities in the country. And the last time I visited there, I actually was very surprised that there were many New Yorkers were in Tampa. It's a beautiful place. I couldn't believe them, of course. However, I was very surprised to see that many back to back. That was pretty cool experience. I never forget it. It's a beautiful place, and I'm glad that you are joining us today.
Yes, happy to be here.
I appreciate it. Well, let's talk about more of you and what you do. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our listeners and to our viewers?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Christian Torres. I am the founder of Stark Analytics, and I am a decision intelligence speaker and strategist. And what that really means is that myself and my firm, we help leaders make better, faster, smarter decisions using decision systems. Because at a certain point in growth, we all know that us as humans, we can become the bottleneck. We can't make every single decision, and we shouldn't be making every decision as if it was the first time we were ever making it, right? We have systems in place for a reason. We have systems for accounting. We have systems for operations, for inventory, but yet nobody ever thought that we should have systems for how we make decisions in business. And that's what I specialize in.
This is great. Well, a couple of things we need to highlight here. You are a published author. Please tell us about your book a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. So this is a brand new, like hot off the press.
Flash.
Yeah. The book is actually about my unique origin story. People ask me how I got into the field of decision intelligence, why I focus so much on this, why I have such a passion. And I tell people that I am uniquely qualified to talk about decision making because I have made some of the worst decisions possible. And so when I was a young man, when I was about 20 years old, I made some very, very bad choices. And I found myself in federal prison. I landed myself in prison. I had to pay for the consequences of my actions. Justified, I definitely deserved to pay that price. But I learned firsthand the cost of bad decision making. And what I realized was that it wasn't just the actual criminal act. It was the mindset, the thinking, the logic, the journey that led me to actually make those bad decisions. And so while I was on my adult timeout, right, as I jokingly call it, I had a lot of time to think, and I had to dissect every single version of myself. I had to rewire my operating system and think about, why did I make these choices and how do I change things so that I can make better choices in the future. And so the book that I just released is called Built in the Dark: How Solitary Confinement Rewired My Mind and Excel Saved My Life. Which a lot of people, they'll ask, Excel, you mean spreadsheets? And I said, yes, actually, those spreadsheets that accountants use all the time, that some people hate to work with, on their daily basis. For me, that became my creative medium. That became the place where I could play and grow and build systems and logic. And so that was really the first tool that I used to help supplement my thinking. And that's what we'll get into it later on, technology and AI, but all these tools, if you think about it, every single tool that we've built, whether it's a physical tool like a hammer or AI, has been to supplement and enhance the human experience. So the work that we're trying to do, we use tools to do it better, faster, smarter, at scale. And that's what Excel became for me, was the tool that I used to build this kind of mental operating system for myself and discover who I really am. So, like I said, the book is called Built in the Dark, and I just released it actually today. I got the first order on print, to do a book signing event, but very, very exciting. And I've gotten some good feedback so far. So let's just put it that way.
That's great. Congratulations with your book, and I'm glad you are a published author now. And the insights, I'm also looking forward to read your book, learn from your book. We welcome published authors in the American Business Podcast. Continuous improvement is an important part of professional journey, and we definitely support it as the American Business Podcast. And you are also part of AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Would you like to tell us about your activities, your committee, what is coming up there?
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about this because I was considering joining a local chapter or figuring out where I could find an organization, a community of business owners that I would be able to learn from, that I would also be able to share some of the knowledge that I've acquired over the years. And I think that pushes you to be better. When there's an expression, it's in one of the Proverbs in the Bible, and it says, iron sharpens iron. And if you think about it, we as business owners can make each other better simply by the act of having conversations, collaborating, sharing ideas. We don't need to be selling to each other, right? There's obviously business to business models, but even just being in the same room with other people that are on the same path as you, that they decided that they wanted to break out of the 9-to-5 and they wanted to build something of their own. We all have shared struggles. We have shared ambitions. We have a shared experience. And that creates a very, very powerful dynamic where we can learn from each other and come out the other side way better. And that's why when you told me about the American Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I said, okay, yeah, this makes sense, because now we're breaking out of the restrictions or the boundaries of the geographical location. And I could have really, really interesting conversations with a business owner in California or in Minnesota or in Texas. And we can all be part of the same group. And you gave me the lay of the land. You said, hey, this is what we're doing. I said, I love it. Let's, how do I join? Where do I start? Where do I sign up? And so I have the honor, the pleasure of being the co-chair of the Business Strategy and Innovation Committee, along with my co-chair, Anthony Bonaspina, who's a genius in his field. He's been in the business for like 35 years, technology, infrastructure, IT, everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of cool things to share with people.
Yes, looking forward to it. So just for our listeners and audience, AVCCI is America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We started it in last 3 weeks. This is all 3 weeks of work. When you go to the website, avcci.us, or you can just scan the QR code on the left side of the screen, you'll see that all these great content, the committees, that we put together, and one of them is the one actually that just like Christian mentioned, that he's leading business innovation and business strategy and innovation committees, public speakers club, the marketplace, and also our regional chapters. All these come together within 3 weeks. Now we have paid members and followers. This is gonna be a great organization, and just like Christian mentioned, this is virtual, so we remove all the boundaries. Now we are able to connect any business professional, any part of the country. We can educate each other together, we can connect together, we can collaborate and grow our businesses and build our business relationships together. That is the place for building business relationship and grow together. That is going to be really exciting and successful, and it's going to serve American businesses, American economy. So we all are very excited as part of AVCCI, and I'm glad that you had a chance to talk about this in this episode and introduce it to our audience, our listeners and viewers. And most of them are business-minded professionals, business owners, and business leaders. So AVCCI is America's virtual chamber of commerce and industry for business growth, education in this age of AI. And I also like to thank you, Christian, for taking this leadership position with Anthony Bonespina for the Business Strategy and Innovation Committee. It's going to be a great committee. I'm very, very excited. It's going to be very educational, very connective, and it's going to create great value for American businesses and business community. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. When we had our first meeting with all the committee chairs, it became so obvious that we have a lot of great talent. We have a lot of brilliant minds. I mean, we've got leaders from all different industries coming together, and they're all there for the same reason. Is that we want to actually collaborate. There's so much going on in the world right now that no single person, no business can figure it out all on their own. I mean, maybe Apple and Meta, they've got enough brain power and money to throw at the problems. But for the rest of us, the ones that are not sitting on a billion-dollar company, we are trying to figure everything out as we go, because the pace of change in technology is so fast that no human can keep up with everything at the same time, which is why we need each other, which is why we need, groups like this, which is why we need that community of people that are specializing in different areas and can come together to build something even greater.
Yes, absolutely. These are great points. And to our listeners and to our viewers, AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, is inclusive. We are inviting you to be part of this journey. You may be a solo entrepreneur. You may be working for a large organization or enterprise. At AVCCI, we are inclusive. We are inviting you to be part of this journey. This is America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We'll talk about business. We'll talk about industry. We'll learn, we'll educate, and we'll grow our businesses together. So looking forward to it. And if you'd like to get more information, please visit avcci.us or scan the QR code on the left top side of the screen. Okay, well, Christian, let's talk about you a little bit more. Tell us about your career journey. How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Yeah, like I had mentioned earlier, I had a very unconventional start. So my skill set that I developed over the years in analytics and scenario modeling and forecasting, continuous improvement, started in a very, very dark place. But a lot of great stories begin from overcoming adversities, from something that was intended to be something that could have ruined you and ended up becoming the source of your power. And so the first thing I always like to address is people ask me, why did you name your company Stark Analytics? Well, if the things behind me are not already giving you an indication, yes, Tony Stark, Iron Man. And I tell people, Tony Stark, a man who was making money from morally objectionable practices, selling weapons and fueling the war machine, and then found himself imprisoned in a cave where he almost died and then had to rebuild himself. And what he did to save his life became the source of his power later. I just love that story. I love the beauty, the journey that he had to go on. And so, yes, that's my favorite superhero and all of that. But for me, it had personal, resonance for my story. And I started off in that place, but I decided to take a different path. Like I said, I mentioned Excel. From there, I started getting into Lean Six Sigma, so continuous process improvement, quality management systems. I got into ISO 9000, ISO 14000. I started getting into all these systems and standards that helped me get an insight for how business really works, specifically in manufacturing. That's where I was working. So it's a furniture manufacturing plant. From there, I went into consulting. So I got out and ended up getting a job as a project manager for an environmental management firm. We were doing energy procurement. We're doing standards, sustainability, greenhouse gas calculations, all the numbers. But underneath all of those numbers, I kept seeing the same thing over and over again. We were building these tools. We were building these analytical models. And the whole point was to drive a decision with a human being, because you can put all the pretty PowerPoints you want together. You can put together a fantastic analytical model that's going to tell you exactly where you think you're going to be 2 years from now. But at the end of the day, a human or a group of humans have to make that decision together. And so I went from being alone and having to figure out how I was going to make decisions to eventually building tools and systems and frameworks for other people to make better decisions.
Can you tell us about your industry? What is the state of your industry?
So the work that I do in decision intelligence is a blend of artificial intelligence, data analytics, and human decision-making frameworks, but it can also be just put under the umbrella of professional services. So there's a lot of business consulting, business management firms, advisory firms, and we're all here to help other organizations operate at a higher level, right? Better, whether it's in accounting, human resources, culture, operations, technology, we're all doing the same version of this. And professional services is in the crosshairs of AI if you don't know what's actually coming. Because my thesis is that just like in quality, so my background, again, quality management systems, we would look at a process and we would say, where's the waste? What are the steps that are unnecessary here? What are the steps that we categorize as non-value add? And we would try to eliminate those steps. That was the whole point of lean manufacturing, was to eliminate process waste. Well, now AI is creating this dynamic where we are going to be forced to eliminate process waste in our services, in the way that we interact with each other. And so the industry that I'm in is being actively disrupted, but it's also an opportunity. So it could be one of two things, right? If you look at electricity, it can fuel industry. It can also fuel an electric chair, right? So it depends on how you use that power. Fire, is another example. AI is the same thing. So for my industry, we have a choice to make. We can use the tools that we have now to simply try to be incrementally better, or we can realize that this is the time that we need to start looking critically at our processes and start trying to trim out the fat.
You just mentioned AI. Let's dive deeper a little bit. It's a very popular subject, and just like you mentioned rightly, so it's an important subject. How do you see the impact of AI nowadays in general, based on your observation and experience?
Yeah, similar to the internet, it's going to change our expectations. And I think that's really, really important, because a lot of businesses right now are thinking, how can it enhance our products? How can we use it to do things faster, to automate, to use agentic, software and platforms to do these things that humans used to have to do? And that's what they're focused on. What they're missing is that the other businesses, their customers, whether you're B2B or B2C, everybody in the world knows that AI is a thing, and they understand that it can make things faster. So start thinking about the expectations that your customers have and your partners have, and the people, your vendors, what they have, because the expectation, the bar is about to get set much higher. And so the things that you used to do are not going to be good enough. You have to think about what is the expectation, because if you used to charge I don't know, let's say you had a process and you charge $100 an hour and it used to take you 10 hours. So you say, okay, $1,000 and I'll build this report. I'll analyze these documents for you. I'll put together a presentation. I will deliver this service. Now, if you come to me and say, I'm going to spend 10 hours on this and I'm going to deliver you a report and I'm going to charge you $1,000 for it, I'm going to say, no, that doesn't sound like a very good deal, because I know that you could easily do this in 1 hour with the assistance of AI. So that means, that tells me one of two things. Either you're dishonest and you're trying to overprice, or two, you don't really know what you're doing and you're not on the cutting edge of technology, which also is a risk for me doing business with you if you're not actually where I'm at, on the frontier.
Okay, well, let's talk about marketing a little bit. Based on your experience and observation, what are the best marketing practices for the highest ROI?
Oh, definitely cat memes. You should just flood the internet with cat memes. And obviously, I'm joking. That's what people are doing. They're taking these high-powered tools and they're using it to make funny pictures, or they're using it to make clones of themselves and putting it out there. And guess what? Everybody knows that it's AI generated. You're not actually fooling anyone. So the highest ROI for marketing is actually just putting in the work, being authentic, being real, taking the unscripted, taking the messy, selfie video that everybody knows it's real. Like, I can just say, hey, look, I'm here today on this day. Make it real. And when people see that, it's like, oh, okay, this isn't the same AI slop that I see all over my LinkedIn feed or my Facebook feed. People scroll and they see all the same stuff. And it's like, okay, yep, ChatGPT, everybody, yep, okay, I get it, AI. And then they see something that looks very raw, very authentic, and it stops, because now you connect with, like, okay, this isn't an ad. This isn't something that's just generated. This is real. Somebody took the time to do this. And all of a sudden, you've captured their attention. That is way more valuable than anything that AI can generate.
Leadership. How would you define leadership? And what are the great leadership qualities a good leader must have?
So there's a book, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. And in the book, he talks about some of the great leaders that he studied. And there was a segment on Henry Ford. And I think about this now because Henry Ford was known for, and I'm going to paraphrase this because I can't say I remember exactly the words, but he was accused of not being smart enough to run his business, because they asked him a bunch of questions that he didn't know the answers to, very technical questions about, like, the car, like the model that they had. And he said, why would I clutter my brain with all of these details when on my desk I have a push button system where I can call in any expert that I need that can answer that question for me? Well, guess what? We all now have that push button system, and AI tools can answer a lot of questions. So for me, a good leader recognizes that it is not his or her job to know everything, to do everything, to be all things for all customers and for all of their departments. That's exactly where businesses actually end up suffocating, because there's no room to grow if everything depends on that one leader. Now, the leader that says, I'm actually here to coach and lead by example, and I'm here to learn. A learning leader. That's an interesting concept. A leader that surrounds himself with people that he can learn from, and then his or her job is to basically say, well, I'm learning so much, let's work together and put something out in the world that people actually want. That, to me, is what a leader should be doing.
Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
It may be a little cliche, but I'd say my dad. He's no longer with us, but his impact still lives on with me. And he didn't do anything fascinating or great with his life. He had his share of struggles. He failed many, many times. I think that if he were here today, he would admit that he made a lot of mistakes and that there were things that he regretted. But the reason why I still consider him such an important role model for me is because he never gave up. Every time that it seemed like he had messed things up in his life, whether he lost a job or something didn't work out the way he wanted, he had an idea, a plan, and it blew up in his face, or something didn't go the right way. A few months later, here he was again. He was either going back to school, getting a different, certificate program, a new job, pursuing something, volunteering his time with nonprofit organizations. He never quit. And I mean, literally until his dying day. He sadly passed away from cancer, but he had just gotten his degree in paralegal studies, and he was going to be working at a senator's office. And it was like, this man just never quit. And I mean, that to me, it was the greatest lesson he could have ever shared with me.
Key career lesson. If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us today?
You're going to be wrong. Every single time that I've worked with a team, that I've had an idea, that I build a model, those models are leading us in the wrong way if you depend on them for precision and certainty. If you come up with a business plan, if you come up with a marketing plan, if you come up with a forecast model, a pro forma of what you think your sales are going to be, anything that you do, you have to go into it knowing that you're probably going to be wrong. And I joke with people, I say, if you think that you're going to grow your business or your sales 10%, that's what you projected. You say, okay, based on how many customers we have and the average ratio of closed won, and you can come up with all the fancy models. And you say, by Q2, we're going to grow 10%. If you grow 9%, you were wrong. If you grow 11%, you were wrong. So the point is that the exercise, the thought process, the logic, the thinking that goes into it is way more valuable than the final number, because you're probably going to be wrong on the number. But what you can't be wrong on is the direction. So aligning on your direction is way more powerful than shooting for a specific number.
We have a little tradition in the American Business Podcast. I have a question for you coming from our previous guest. And I'll ask you to leave me a question in this episode. I'll take your question and ask our coming guest in the next episode. And the question from our previous guest is, what is your purpose in life?
Ooh, yeah, I mean, that's a very simple question, right? That we all know that, right? You know your purpose in life. I think we all know our purpose in life. I'm still figuring it out, as we all are. And I think we should be, right? We should always be evaluating ourselves. What is the thing that still gives us life? What is the thing that we want to wake up every morning and do? And for me, when I think about my purpose statement, it's to help people make better decisions. That's it. Because I know the cost of making a bad decision. And that's why I get very picky about the words that I use, because a lot of people talk about data-driven decisions. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about letting the data drive me. I don't want to be data-driven or technology-driven. That implies a passive relationship with that technology. It's driving you. It should be the other way around. So using terms like data-enabled or technology-enabled decision-making, to me, is way more powerful. But ultimately, my purpose is to help people make better decisions.
What is your question for the next guest?
Ooh, I should give him a really hard one like the last person did to me. My question would be, what is one thing in your industry today that is true that 5 years ago you would have never thought was going to happen or never saw coming?
That's a great question. Well, we'll make sure to ask the question in the next episode in a couple of hours.
Okay.
So you don't have to wait too long for the answer. Okay, great. Well, in this part of the episode, is there any question you would like to ask me?
Yeah, Kevin, my question for you is, where do you see the American Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry being in 5 years? And that's a long ways away. But right now, you have this community, you have this virtual chamber.
Yes.
Is it going to branch out into more like in-person events? Do you see it being like, do you see an app in the future? When you go to sleep at night, what are the things that you're like, oh my God, like I'm hoping that it becomes this one day?
Well, judging by how we started, right, with our founding members, with our committees, committee co-chairs, our own leaders within our own chamber right now, AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. 5 years later, I believe we'll have thousands of members at AVCCI of American businesses of different sizes, from solo entrepreneur to Fortune 500 companies. We'll have more committees, more regional chapters, and eventually, with the help of our regional chapters, we'll have in-person meetings. That's going to be inevitable. The growth of AVCCI will come from being virtual by removing all the boundaries and making it easy for businesses, business leaders, and professionals connect as easy, as quick as possible. That's going to be the growth engine, followed by and powered by the American Business Podcast. Let's remember, the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry is virtual, America's first, digital-first national chamber of commerce, powered by a media engine, which is the American Business Podcast. That's the America's Chamber of Commerce powered by the American Business Podcast, meaning the visibility, the publicity is non-stop. Every single activity that we'll perform at AVCCI will be recorded and pushed to the American Business Podcast ecosystem. Now we are getting close to 200,000 YouTube subscribers. We'll be there soon. So this growth, this visibility, this media engine will be growing. It will fuel AVCCI. AVCCI will be growing. It will fuel the American Business Podcast and support American businesses. So it's going to be an institution, a serious institution, connecting American businesses in different parts of the country, connecting American professionals from different backgrounds, different industries, vertical free, literally. And it's going to embrace the American businesses' best practices, hard work, innovation, practicality, opportunity. So all will be together. So I'm very, very excited. I'm glad you asked the question. So this is just the beginning, AVCCI. And after 5 years, it's going to be a serious institution connecting American businesses nationwide and international, national. That will also happen. And inevitably, in-person meetings will also come up after 5 years or within 5 years. We'll see that. And
okay, good.
I'm looking forward to it.
I don't want to keep believing that maybe you're just an AI avatar, Kevin. You might just be an AI avatar. I don't know if you're a real person. I got to meet you in real person in life, right? I got to meet you.
Let me turn off the AI. Turn off the AI. Now it's me. Well, yes. So that's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to next steps. I mean, AVCCI is the chamber that every single serious American business should be a part of. Any business believes in building business relationships, believe in the power of education and connecting other professionals should be a part of AVCCI. And we are inclusive. We welcome any serious business professional to be a part of AVCCI. We'll keep that inclusiveness, this inclusive approach, and the model all the way. That is critical, and that's what makes us different. This is America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, connecting the entire country to each other. That's been the missing link. And we are addressing that with this next generation model. And in this age of AI, this is the next generation Chamber of Commerce for America. And it'll be a great journey. I cannot wait for the next steps. And even so far, in the last 3 weeks, has been great. I mean, this is the sign of what is coming. So these are great opportunities for all of us. And I'm happy to put this together and bring it to the American business and make it available to serve American businesses. That's a great opportunity. That's a privilege that we all have. So looking forward to next steps. And thank you for asking this question. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, what is your career advice for the next generation professionals?
The career advice, that's tough because it has to be applicable to all career paths, right? Because you can become an actor, you can become an astronaut. I think that the best advice that I can give is focus on eliminating scarcity mindset. Because scarcity mindset, that belief that there isn't enough, that belief that maybe you're not enough, that belief that everything has to be a struggle, a fight, that it's a zero-sum game, that you have to win and conquer by stepping on top of other people. This is the thing that leads to conflict, to war, to crime, to all manner of conflict and tension, even within our own organizations. If you can focus on eliminating that and first identifying it within your own life, you will be able to go further in whatever career path you choose.
For those who like to continue this conversation, to learn more about you, more about your organization, your services, what is the best way that they can get in touch with you?
If they're interested in learning more about the work that I do through my company, the website is stark-analytics.com. And if they're interested in learning more about me personally, as a speaker, as a workshop facilitator, as a panelist, as an author, then my personal site is christiantorres.info.
Christian, thank you so much for being with us in the American Business Podcast. And thank you for being part of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, powered by the American Business Podcast. Looking forward to continue working with you, and I appreciate your leadership in the Innovation and Strategy Committee. And you are also a public speaker. We also present you in our Public Speakers Club in AVCCI's website, avcci.us. And that's, as I mentioned, it's just the beginning of the journey, and looking forward to next steps. Thank you for sharing your professional insights and professional wisdom with us in the American Business Podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.
All right.
And to our listeners and to our viewers, I hope you enjoyed today's episode and you learned something new. As I always say, there is always something new to learn in the American Business Podcast episodes, and this episode was also one of them. And what do you think? What do you think about AI and how you are preparing yourself for your next career move? Please share your thoughts in the chat box. Join the conversation, and we love to hear from you. And we love to discuss AI, building a career journey, and we are looking forward to growing this community. And as discussed during this episode, we also created America's first digital first, national, and media-powered Chamber of Commerce. It's called America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI, powered by the American Business Podcast. We are inclusive. We are welcoming businesses in any size, from solo entrepreneur to Fortune 500 companies. We have committees to dive deeper into business practices and industries. We have regional chapters to connect nationally and regionally businesses and help them build business relationships. In AVCCI, you can collaborate with other businesses. You can get education, the latest information about AI and other important subjects in business as well. If you'd like to learn more, please visit avcci.us. Learn more about the chamber, view committees as well as regional chapters, and go to membership site in the website and sign up and join us. Also, for your information, committee meetings, and all of our activities are virtual. You can connect from anywhere. And committee meetings are free of charge, complimentary. We welcome any serious business person who would like to be listening, being a follower of any of our committees at AVCCI. You are more than welcome to join us. If you like to be a member, if you are a serious business professional, a business owner who believes in building business relationships, please join us. Thank you for your support. We'll be right back after a short break. Would you like to listen to music during your work time? We are here to help. We created ABP Office Music Pod, powered by the American Business Podcast. ABP Office Music Pod is for you, the working professional. You can enjoy jazz, lo-fi, smooth jazz, classic music, and more during your work time. We keep the music positive and energetic. You can go to the YouTube channel of the American Business Podcast, or you can scan this QR code and start listening right away. There is more coming in the American Business Podcast, and this is one of them. Enjoy ABP Office Music Pod during your work time, and thank you very much for your support. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kirk Consulting, now Cherry Baker. It is time to digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps designed for small and mid-sized companies as well as enterprise-level companies to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I'd like to talk about one of the Anywhere apps that's very popular in the US. It is called Nonprofit Management Anywhere. If you are a nonprofit and you like to manage your donations, volunteers, fundraising events, your grants, and other documents for compliance and operational purposes, consider Nonprofit Management Anywhere. It is a completely cloud service. You can start using it today with no need for local installation on your server or on your local laptop and computers. It is user-friendly and it's easy to deploy, and you can start using it today. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about Anywhere apps, including Nonprofit Management Anywhere. Well, there is more. If you'd like to talk to me directly about Anywhere apps, you can just send me an email directly, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Anywhere apps are modern, they are easy to use, they are affordable, practical, and more importantly, that's designed for you to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Scan the QR code or just send me a direct email, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Thank you for your support. Would you like to start your business podcast? We are here to help. My name is Kevin Deveci. I am the founder and host of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. When we started the American Business Podcast on February 28, 2025, we had only one mission in mind: to promote, support, and uplift American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the American business community. Within our first 6 months, we managed to pass 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and we received YouTube Silver Award. This is an important award. It shows our dedication to American business and to the American Business Podcast viewers, subscribers, and American Business Podcast community. Now you can have your own branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast Network. You can promote your company, your products, your services, and you'll have instant visibility in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers, subscribers, and followers. You can promote your company, your products and services. You can educate and inspire businesses and individuals. More importantly, you can tell your story, your brand story. How did you get started? What makes you different? And how you are helping your customers and communities. As you know, in the American Business Podcast, I've been talking to more than 100 American businesses. Each business has a story that is inspiring and motivational. I know your business also has a great story which is motivational and inspiring. It is time for you to have your business podcast within the American Business Podcast Network. We help you start your business podcast and we help you grow your business. This is a great opportunity for you to be visible in the marketplace in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers and subscribers. And this is a great opportunity for us to fulfill our mission to promote, support, and uplift American businesses. Please send us an email and let's get the conversation started. It is PaaS@americanpodcast.tv. Business podcasting as a service, powered by the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast is America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. My name is Kevin Deveci. I'm the founder and host of the American Business Podcast, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you, working with you, and help you grow your business with your new business podcast. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Wizen. At the American Business Podcast, we always talk about continuous improvement and professional development. That is why we partner with Wizen, trust the nation's largest network for tutoring. Wizen helps you find the tutor that you need in many different subjects: chemistry, computer, foreign languages, geometry, English, music, physics, reading, SAT, science, and many more. I have the QR code on the screen that you can sign up and start searching for tutors and enjoy the learning experience and continuous improvement as we always talk about in the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up for Wizen today. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Invicta watches. Invicta watches are known for their stylish design for men, women, as well as for unisex watches. When you scan the QR code on the screen, it will take to their online store and you can start shopping right away. When you go to the Invicta store website, you'll see watches in different collections for men, for women, different colors, different designs, as well as different sizes. There are hundreds of watches that you can see and you can pick from. Because it's end of the year, you'll also enjoy the benefits of their end of the year promotions and discounts. True story, I am an Invicta fan. I've been using Invicta for many years. I have more than 10 Invicta watches in my wardrobe. This is one of them that I like. The style is pretty cool. I use these pretty much weekly basis. I have another one that I use on my wrist. This one is pretty cool. This one is called Shutter. I can change the face just by turning the buttons, and I can have different style of watches pretty much every day. Because it's pretty business looking, I can actually wear this with my business outfit as well. Please scan the QR code and start shopping today. I'm sure you'll like Invicta watches. They have great styles and different colors as well as different technologies such as quartz, mechanical, automatic, and other watches are also available for your liking and for your choice. Please scan the QR code and start shopping today. Thank you very much for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Just Answer. Real help from real experts 24/7. Experts such as lawyers, doctors, veterinarians, computer technicians, home improvement experts, mechanics, personal tax experts, computer technicians, and many other experts are available for you 24/7 on Just Answer. You'll get your answers anytime, during the day, during the night, 24/7, and you'll get your answers from reliable sources. You can scan the QR code on the screen and you can sign up for Just Answer. The answers you need at a price that is right. Scan the QR code and sign up for Just Answer today. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. If you'd like to sponsor ABP, if you'd like to advertise in our podcast episodes, please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can advertise your company, your products, your services, and your brands in the American Business Podcast. Please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, to learn more about the American Business Podcast as well as our coming streaming schedule. Now you can have your branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We call it Business Podcasting as a Service, PaaS. If you're interested in starting your business podcast in the American Business Podcast network, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. As part of our international expansion, we started international podcast editions. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube page. And please go to the podcast section in our YouTube page and you'll see our international podcast editions. They are ABP Espanol, ABP German, ABP French, ABP Hindi, ABP Portuguese, and ABP Turk, that you can listen to American Business Podcast in 6 different foreign languages. Okay, well, we are in the process of increasing our presence in social media. If you're on LinkedIn, please scan this QR code and subscribe, follow us on LinkedIn. If you're on TikTok, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our TikTok page. Please subscribe. Please follow us. If you are on Instagram, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Instagram page and please subscribe. If you are on Facebook, we'll also appreciate your help and support. Please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Facebook page and please follow us. And finally, we are on IMDb next to other reputable media productions. please scan this QR code, go to our IMDb page, and please rate us on IMDb. We'll truly appreciate your help and support. I'd like to thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in coming The American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast, America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. Thank you very much for your help and looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.